is Gannon Linnell, and I will be doing a presentation on the research on the adoption of social media marketing. So I thought I would just describe some of what's to come. I did 2 slides on the potential of social media marketing. I then discussed 3 different companies that implemented social media marketing, and I'll then describe some of my recommendations and conclude the presentation. Alright, so I thought I would talk about the potential of social media, and I thought I would first discuss some of the more casual platforms that a lot of people have heard of and use. Things like Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. A lot of people might be thinking that these are very unprofessional platforms and that they might not set a good idea of what the company is supposed to be like, but almost all of these have a professional side to them. Don't get me wrong, there's plenty of personal profiles on all of these platforms as well, but Facebook specifically gives you the ability to turn on a professional mode so that you seek out other businesses and other individuals. It also gives you other professional tools to help you network as well. Not to mention there's over 3 billion people on just Facebook alone that use it monthly, 2.93 billion monthly users that are across the entire world, which just gives you the connection to talk to anybody at any time right at your fingertips. But you need to have a presence on social media already. All right. So I thought I would also talk about some of the more professional platforms that are designed for business networking and things like that. There's things like LinkedIn, Yelp, Bumble Business, and there's more than that. But these platforms actually are intended for networking. They're designed for businesses to collaborate with each other. LinkedIn specifically gives businesses and individuals matches and people that they recommend to talk to each other based off of their business expertise and things like that. And it would just make a business like this that's very stagnant in their profit. Maybe there could be a collaboration out there that they don't know about. Maybe there's another baby product company that we could work with, that we could have a collaboration and combine products and ideas. That potential comes out through things like LinkedIn and Yelp. And it also just promotes community growth. There's lots of businesses out there that want to share their ideas, but you have to reach out and you have to network with them to be able to do that. Oh, and another thing, specifically on LinkedIn, it actually gives you the ability to look at employees and employers' business profiles, see where they have worked, their experience, their backgrounds. It lets you look at all these different things. So companies like us that potentially need a bit of a change, maybe there's a person out there on LinkedIn that we don't know about that could change things up around here, or these other business platforms. There's countless versions of them out there. So all the companies that I chose, I tried to choose ones that aren't very big names, because I feel like big names, when they go into social media, they quickly gain a following because they already have such a wide customer base. So I wanted to research companies that were pretty small and gained success through social media. So let's talk about Glosure. That's the first one. And they started their branding on Instagram. They actually utilized Instagram to find their models, and in doing so they were able to tag these models in their posts, which then put this makeup brand onto the models page, which allowed all of the models' followers to see this makeup. And so each time they made a post, they were gaining a lot of interest in their company, which then turned them into a multi-million-dollar industry. And the CEO actually focused on a direct-to-customer model, which helped her be very close with her customers. And when she was building her social media presence, she was able to gain popularity fairly quickly. So the next company that I wanted to talk about is Boohoo. This company utilizes social media when the pandemic hit. Actually, instead of failing or letting their business fail, they decided to go into social media, which helped prevent them from going out of business. And after just creating a simple hashtag, it actually made their post go viral, and it actually became a trend for a little bit to wear this company's clothing and take pictures with it, and post them, which obviously helped market them, a lot. Um, and it turned their gross profit over just a year from 2019 to 2020. Their gross profit rose over 42%. And it was almost solely because of one post with a hashtag on it. So the third and final company that I researched is Warby Parker. It initially started off with very, very low capital in the thousands, but they immediately got their foot in the door with social media. And because this is a glasses company, but their glasses are flexible, so you can like drop them and smash them into things. And Vogue actually found interest in this and covered them in a magazine, which helped them actually get their first real funding, which was in the millions, which started their company, solely because they were on social media and somebody at Vogue found this company interesting. It's little moments like that that have helped build companies into multi-million dollar industries. And it's solely because of social media. Not solely, but mostly due to social media. That was the start of it. And eventually Jimmy Fallon even signed with them, and this is when they really started to gain success because he started sponsoring their stuff, which opened them to a massive audience, and that's where their sales really started to increase. I wish I would have added a graph onto here, but their sales before the Jimmy Fallon started were pretty good, but then after it's a huge peak. Anyways, so I guess I'll talk about conclusions and then my recommendations. So if utilized correctly, I think social media it can change a business completely. It can make for new audiences that you might not have known were there. It might just open you for the potential to meet an employee or an employer that can help you out. You might gain knowledge. That there's just countless possibilities with social media. It's also just a form of branding as well. There's never any harm in networking, which is what social media is. It's talking to people, it's communicating, it's making posts that other people see, it's socializing, but on your phone. And that's that's what you're doing in person, that's what you do in the business world. It's just that in this modern day and age, we can now do it on our phones. And if you don't get into the social media environment, you're missing out on huge networking possibilities, and probably multi-million dollar possibilities that you might not have even considered. Not to mention, a social media presence has a track record of actually bringing a lot of consumers into businesses' websites, just because they run into a page where they find a link that they end up on this business's page. It's small moments on social media that can be so huge. You might have a very small following on social media for a long time, and then you have one post that completely changes everything. That's the environment we live in, and we should take advantage of it as a company, I think. So my recommendations, if the executive team does decide to go forward with social media marketing, I think it would be smart to keep it as a small team, a trustworthy team that is reliable, knows the company well, and can hold through with those standards. I think that's where companies tend to fail, is when they have some random teenager running their social media pages and they end up getting horrible backlash and ruining their company. If you have somebody that knows what they're doing, you're making posts that is about your product, about information that's relatable to your product, things to keep people engaged, I would suggest, having surveys, having contests. I've been on social media myself where I'll randomly see some post from somebody that I've never even heard of, but it's some contest or some survey that I'm interested in, and I've ended up following that page. It's these little things that can help network, and networking helps your business. I mean, that's what we need right now. Being in a stagnant position, social media can get us out of that. Yeah, thank you for listening to my presentation. That's all.